She's with CRS. Nice to meet you. She's an old girl. Yes. Yes. He was our teacher in I have to give you 20. One
Karibuni sana viongozi wetu mashuhuri, karibuni sana. Karibu sana mheshimiwa. The moves are just like the ones of Misukuti. Yes, move it, man. Thank you very much. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Tutakuwa na group photo. Yeah. Makofi. Mheshimiwa Abel Daud, please, can you guide the photo session?
Sorry, Mr. Makosi, I'm so sorry. Your minister.
Also to come together and network or even remember each other, because most of our students, we left each other when we left Form 4. Some of them we met here today, and I was very much proud to see some of them doing very well. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have lawyers, we have politicians, we have so many people. And I came to confirm today, only this team, this association, can change Wajir County, not only Wajir School. Because we have everything. We have teachers, we have entrepreneurs, we have business people, we have everyone. Let us not have this mind of only assisting Wajir School, but also the entire Wajir County. We have the capacity, we have the powers, God has given us everything.
Your Excellency, the biggest problem we have on the ground now is illegal immigration from Ethiopia that's taken up a lot of the handiwork, I don't want to say manual jobs. And this itself also creates a lot of challenges. Of course, there's also cross-county integration. So many people from other counties finding opportunities in our county. There is need for career talks. We have been a somewhat insulated society. Our HIV numbers were pretty low. In absolute terms, they're still very low, but they're growing, partly because of this integration, this urbanization. So I hope some of you seated here today will find time to go back to the school, to talk to kids about character building, about being responsible Kenyans, about the danger of HIV/AIDS, and a lot of other things. There's a lot of good things happening in our society, but that also comes with a lot of challenges. And this is why we talk of mentoring. So I hope you'll find time to mentor.
Ladies and gentlemen, education is the cornerstone of national development, and as a ministry, we are committed to ensuring that no region, no community, and no child is left behind. In this spirit, I'm pleased to announce the following measures to support Wajir High School and its Alumni Association. Number one, we will work with the association to prioritize critical infrastructure projects such as classrooms, science laboratories, and ICT laboratories, including the issue that you've raised with respect to the perimeter wall. And we are really concerned across our country's public institutions where a lot of our pieces of land belonging to institutions are being encroached on by private investors. So with perimeter walling, we will reduce the chances and opportunities of those who intend to encroach on our land. We will also advocate for funding through the National Government Constituency Development Fund and other government initiatives to address immediate needs. Number two, we will strengthen scholarship programs and bursaries for vulnerable learners from marginalized communities to promote equitable access to education. Indeed, as we speak, we are working on a law for the harmonization and consolidation of bursary schemes to ensure that all the resources we have are optimized for the benefit of our deserving learners. And number three, we will work closely with the association to facilitate partnerships with the private sector, development partners, and civil society to support resource mobilization and mentorship initiatives.
It is particularly encouraging to see former students united for the purpose of enhancing the alumni network and celebrating the achievements of your great school. You are laying a firm foundation for the growth of this school into the future, ensuring that it continues to benefit the generations that come after you. Your school, as you have heard, has a long history of excellence since it was founded on February 8th, 1965. As the first secondary school in the former northeastern province, it pioneered education for nomadic communities from Garissa, Isiolo, Mandera, Marsabit, and Wajir. It grew from humble beginnings with a single stream to a national school excelling in academics and inclusivity. In terms of policy, he has announced very clearly that what you are doing, his ministry is now formulating a proper legal framework so that it does not just begin and end with Wajir, but it will spread to other parts of the country so that our institutions can borrow from the initiative that you have today put in place. It is important that once we have gone through institutions, we do not just walk away, because institutions will grow when those who have been beneficiaries of those institutions look back and see how they can improve and consolidate those institutions. So your gesture is extremely important, and it deserves being emulated across the country through a proper and structured legal framework and policy position, and the Ministry of Education will spearhead that, and we are happy that it's well on course. Leshima has been also a PS, he has been a legislator, and again, a very dedicated public officer in this country. When you see what we have today as the Kenya Airports Authority, it used to be then the Kenya Aerodromes. He was the pioneer, this gentleman here. who worked and set the foundations for what today is the Kenya Airports Authority, that handles all our aviation in the Republic, all our facilities. And he also served as a very, very solid permanent secretary. They set the tempo. One sometimes looks back with nostalgia because these were very, very solid principal secretaries. And he's here to namshukuru tena because he's one of us and he also taught in your school. I am honored to preside over this inaugural meeting of the Wajir High School Alumni Association, which coincides with your enduring journey to the 60th anniversary celebrations in February next year. My greatest appreciation goes to the leadership of the alumni for inviting me and for your dedication to preserving the enduring legacy of Wajir High School, which has produced many renowned leaders who have served diligently in many spheres here in Kenya and abroad. Some of the statistics that we see in two areas are dangerous, and I think collectively this can also be something that the alumni can champion. One is the influence of drugs in our young people. It's a very, very serious challenge. And when they have a chance to hear from the alumni and how you help them, you will again be helping them veer away from dangerous practices and focus on what is right for them, for their future, and indeed for the country. So that is one area where I think deliberate initiatives from the alumni can also be very useful in helping our young people all over the country to become citizens of good repute. Again, we need to focus. In the region, for instance, Kenya, I think, has got about 1.3 million people who are living with HIV, and they are dependent on government support, either the antivirals, and because with that you can, but there are other countries where we see a very high percentage. We have countries in Africa where the numbers are as high as 8 million people living with that challenge. So I wanted to focus on Kenya because sometimes you don't want to talk about other countries because people can get very, very offended. But the statistics are there. Statistics are there. So we need to draw the attention of the younger people to their moral behavior, because it can become dangerous and we don't want to lose them. And I bring this up because many countries are relying on the US support under the PEPFAR. Many countries are relying on the PEPFAR agreement, which supports medical drugs and so forth to various countries. But you see, a policy in a country can change. There's a new regime that has come into the United States. Suppose it decides to look at it differently. What happens to our citizens who require medical attention from those? And right now the ratio is that the government of Kenya covers about 40% of the needs, but through partnerships with other countries, the 60% gap is filled. So suppose that 60% gap, suppose the countries that are supporting us also pull back, then we will have an even bigger challenge to make sure that our citizens who deserve medical attention, who deserve medical drugs and so forth, to help them not to suffer the consequences of pain and so forth, what happens to them? But I wanted to bring this because our demography has shown that 70% of the Kenyans, of our people, our population is below 35 and below, 70%. So we have a duty to talk to our younger people, and we have a duty as alumni to give special attention to some of these areas so that as we talk to them about career development and so forth, let us also talk to them as areas that need special attention, ili taifa letu lisiangamie